Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. And we've got a Lucci mirror matchup here. Now, I will say that, unfortunately, during portions of this game, you'll see that the glare is a little unfortunate on some of the cards. Where I do play at my local spots, there are, like, only a few seats that I can sit at that don't have, you know, a pretty bad look of the glare. I try my best, obviously, to not have to deal with that problem, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I end up getting Enis Lobby down in this mirror matchup, both of us on our, you know, first and second turn, so pretty solid. Unfortunate mill for me, though, getting Sabo and actually both Sabos into my trash right here. Hate to see that, just because the 8 cost is really nice in this matchup, as well as the 5 cost. The 5 cost can quite literally just win you the game close to the end. But I do end up getting Lucci and Rebecca this time, which is fantastic. Super glad to see that. And I'll go ahead and swing 5. He does counter out with the Brook, and now I've got 5 Dawn that I can work with. I'm just deciding whether I wanted to use the Brook or not, and I do decide to just get it onto the board. I knew that I couldn't use Kaku here because I didn't have the 2 CP cards to return, as much as I would have liked to get that down, and know that more than likely this Brook is just going to die the following turn. But at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it dying. Pretty much if he does end up playing, you know, like some Rebecca Brook, or like, which is looking like what's going to happen, or Lucci, Brook is very useful in my trash in this matchup, so I'm totally okay with that. But going up to 7 Dawn, I don't really have, like, incredible plays in hand. I would have loved to see a Moria by now. Having a Rebecca in hand to also start to play back my own Brook would have been nice. But I'm just going to go ahead and swing 6 into the Brook, minusing 1 on the Rebecca, which is more of a bait than anything. I'm just trying to see if my opponent would let it go so I can use Kaku to KO both. I end up getting the 2 more into trash, and then another 3 with Spandam, giving me enough to play Kaku and return a few. So I've got some options here. Unfortunately, all the cards that I want to keep in my trash, I have to return doing this. So it doesn't feel like my trash as well as my hand has been working out the way that I wanted it to. Arguably, I maybe should have countered out with the Khalifa the turn prior from the 7k swing, but I was kind of fine digging through life to find the 8 cost Moria to play it on curve, as well as potentially have a Sabo. But now I finally do get Khalifa into trash, and he's going to go ahead and hit me with the Lucci combo. Does end up taking out the Kaku and Spandam. I believe he forgot to tap stage beforehand, but yet again, we're just playing locally. We're having some fun, so I totally don't mind, you know, if he's just like, hey, can I just swap that up real quick? Because I do the same thing all the time. And thinking about cards in hand for my opponent, he has, I believe, 6 right now, so I do have an option of being able to use my Isho here. The tough part about that is that if I do go the Isho route, it's staying on the board a little bit longer than I want it to, and it does feel like it gets to kind of a scary point in the game where I now have to deal with this, the Lucci, yeah, which is not feeling great. Obviously, getting rid of my 4-cost Lucci already from trash is, like, kind of detrimental because now I don't have a play that I would have liked to do. But it ends up working out. I end up swinging 8 here into life, reducing the Moria down to a 4-cost. I can now tap stage and use Kaku, which I'm going to do, and I will just go ahead and do that. Yet again, though, feels kind of bad returning the Kaku as well as Spandam to the bottom, but I actually end up deciding to go Kaku as well as the 1-cost event, the Tempest Kick here. I'm still not super happy with how I've been able to, you know, remove the board, but obviously we're kind of playing with what we have. Our decision making hasn't been the best, but at the same time, that's why I'm learning this deck, and it feels like it does come down to a lot of, you know, what you put into trash and how lucky you get out of your leader swing putting cards into trash. I finally pick up my Moria. I was digging a little deep for it, and we finally do end up getting it, but he hits me with the back-to-back Moria play here. Hate to see it, and he also gets the Spandine into trash, so that gives him the option if he wanted to. He realizes that he was one Dawn short of being able to KO with Brook, and I was like, yeah, you can just swap it up if you want. Like, just change that out real fast, but I think he ends up sticking with it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because just the -1 from leader as well as the -2 from Eni's Lobby brought him down to a 2 cost, and Brook just doesn't get there. But I think there was just a just a little bit of math, unfortunately, done wrong. But looking at his hand size, it's pretty terrifying, as well as his board state. So now I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, I definitely gotta deal with this some point. Like, I'd love to get Isho down, but I just don't have the time. It's too slow right now, so I'm just gonna swing 5 into Brook, potentially get a 2k, but this is also, I guess, a little scary to some degree. I do end up getting the Rook off the board, though. Rebecca stays. I would have thought that Rebecca would have been gone, but I'm now going to tap Eni's Lobby. I think this is bringing Moria down to a 5 cost. Yeah, so -1, and then as well as the -2, bring it down to a 5 cost. I can just use Helmeppo here, and Helmeppo is going to bring it down to a 2, and I can use my own Moria, but I don't believe I have Lucci. Yeah, I don't actually have Lucci, which is tragic. So I decided to go Rebecca. I think I'm going like Rebecca, Helmeppo, and just playing out a Brook, like, with how this is looking. Knowing my luck, though, it is what it is. It's just this is just how unlucky I get sometimes with my leader swings, and you know, drawing into what I need to is a little more difficult than I want it to be with this deck. But I do go ahead and remove the Moria. I get the Passover. It feels like we've swapped up the the board state a little bit, but all he has to do is do the exact same play with either a Moria or a Sabo. Any bit of this of that play is just gonna pretty much put me super far behind, because I don't really have a direct answer per se. I have a Sabo, which is great for trying to pressure life and like stalling a turn, but I just don't have a fantastic board wipe mechanic the turn after as well. But we will see the 5k swing into life. It's gonna go -1, I believe, onto the okay, so it's onto the Rebecca. This feels like he's trying to just bait out my Rebecca, but I'm also wondering whether I should be blocking with it or not. And I do decide to. He's probably just going to swing the Lucci into Brook now. Brook's a pretty free KO. But instead, we see a 4 with Spandam. This makes me feel a little more confident, because it feels like, okay, I might not be seeing like a Lucci or a Moria. Or excuse me, a Sabo or a Moria this turn. And he swings 4 into the Brook. I just want him to dedicate that Lucci swing into the Brook and not go into Kaku. And if he does, I am going to defend Kaku. Brook, I'll happily let go. But, yeah, dropping my Sabo doesn't feel great, but I know that I can just get it back with Rebecca. So I'm not sweating it too hard. Using Stage here, I don't think really helps him that much. With 8 Dawn, I mean, I suppose I guess there's a way he could get there with like a Rebecca Lucci, and it looks as though he's just going to use Khalifa. So this is more than likely just a Khalifa Lucci to KO this and the Helmeppo. Puts me down to just having a Moria on the board, which is yet again a little unfortunate. Hate to see it. I haven't seen any of my Luccis, and he's gotten quite a few. But I take that back. The one that I saw was at the bottom of the deck. But look at that, as if the deck knew exactly how like down bad I was. It said, hey, don't worry, I got your back, bro. We're just gonna hit you with a quick Lucci off the top of the deck. This Isho has been dead in my hand. If I had been able to protect my life maybe one turn earlier when he was swinging 7, I think that Isho would have been really helpful for us this match. But It's definitely just been a really dead card in hand right now. I am just going to swing 5 into life. I'm going to put the -1 onto the active standing Lucci. I do end up milling 2 Morias right here. Like, yet again, this is just my experience with Lucci. Thumbs up for the I'm having a good time. Lucci is like, you know, it's a love-hate relationship with this deck. It's very fun to play, but it's also extremely aggravating. We get counter with Kaku, and now I can just bring down Lucci to a 1 cost. I'll swing 9 into the rested Lucci, but now I feel pretty confident that a Brook and a Lucci combo is going to do us pretty well. I get the Lucci off on the Spandam and active Lucci, and then the Brook on the rested, just leaving him with a Khalifa on board. So now it's yet again kind of forcing him into this position of, do you have an answer? Do you have the board wipe? He might have to go really aggressive here and try and get me down to 0 life, and then maybe just play defensively. But he is going to put the Tempest Kick onto the Moria, another Tempest Kick onto the Moria, bringing it down to a 2 cost. So I'm smelling some type of removal. I'm just trying to debate what it is. But this is very telling. So swinging 5 here is going to hit, and then he swings 5, and I did counter out, I think, with like a Suru or something right there on the first swing. But yeah, not having 8 Dawn for one of the bigger plays is pretty solid for us. But he sees the 4th Lucci, which is tragic. Now I have, you know, I'm not super upset though, because we did draw into the Sabo, but I also have the Rebecca just to get back Lucci, and I know that I can wipe out his Rebecca and Helmeppo, but just picking up an 8 cost Sabo off the top of the deck is exactly what we needed to see. Just makes it that much clearer. And now I can go Sabo, trashing the Isho that's been dead in hand the entire game, and leaving myself with, yeah, 2 cards in hand, but feeling good. Feeling pretty solid. He is going to go 6 into, I believe it was life, but there was a -1 onto Sabo, -1 onto the Brook, bringing it down to 5. I only have a Rebecca left in hand, but I know I'm not expecting any swings, you know, any further swings. I just need to probably like Rebecca into a Sabo the following turn, buy myself a turn, and then just go from there. It looks as though he's just going to pick up the Brook out of trash, play it out with Rebecca, and then Sabo for 2 cards, but he's only left with 1 card in hand, and we pick up another Rebecca. I love the fact that I've been seeing like all my Rebeccas and Luccis later than I really wanted to. Would have been nice to see him a little earlier in the match, but they're still going to be extremely helpful at this stage as well. I do get a 6k swing into life, which more than likely he's just going to have to take. He's 1 card in hand, the 2 blockers. You don't really want to give up one of the blockers right here. I am going to swing 9 as well. He's thinking about blocking, but he's got 3 life, so pretty solid. Just takes it, goes down to 1, but I do end up playing the Rebecca, picking up Sabo, protects the whole board, and pretty much like guarantees me, almost guarantees me the win. Like, I have to pretty much dodge my opponent playing another Sabo this turn. That's realistically like the only thing that can be pretty annoying here. No matter how he swings into either my Brook or my life, you know, we're looking pretty free here. It looks like a 7k is going into life, and yeah, I mean, that for me is pretty free. I can just take that and not feel super bad. I am just going to block with the Rebecca here, though, from the leader's 7k swing. And now with 7 Dawn remaining, I'm just trying to see, you know, like what are the options here? Is it another Rebecca play? Does he have another Sabo? Can't Moria, obviously, but it just doesn't feel like anything done here is gonna be too impactful for us, or against us. But a Khalifa to maybe cycle out some dead cards in hand, just wants to get some counter power if possible. Unfortunate though that you have to drop the 2k for that, and 3 Dawn as well. He rest the 3 Dawn, but he didn't play anything, so Yeah, but now I have multiple options. I'm just going to lower down the Rebecca, though. I return 3 off the top of the trash, and I can swing 9 to life, and I can attach the rest and go for game. We end up picking it up. Pretty solid, all things considered, but it did feel a little dicey there. Just mulliganing all of my, or not mulliganing, milling all of my Gecko Morias is just tragic. This deck definitely relies on seeing a pretty solid starting hand and kind of knowing when and when not to use your leader effect, which is pretty tough sometimes because you really do want to set up your grave for, you know, those plays in the mid and late game. But if you haven't seen those key cards, it gets a little scary. It gets really scary. But I hope you guys enjoy the match. I've got plenty of matches coming up very soon. A couple of Bonnie matches, Gecko Moria that I've been testing into OP07, as well as Enel. And I won't lie, I hate Enel. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Hope you have a great day. Happy 4th of July. Peace.